Hi everyone, this is my review of the Samsung Galaxy S5. Now I'm going to do this review slightly differently, so I'm firstly going to list things about the phone that I don't like, then things that could do with some improvement, and then finally finish with the things that I love about the phone. So here we go. So the first thing I dislike about the phone is TouchWiz. I think it looks awful. It's big, it's childish, it's incoherent, there's no design theme. Samsung seem to be using random colors and sizes everywhere in the interface. It's goddamn awful. Now, I really did try to use and like TouchWiz when I first got the S5, but that lasted for about 3 hours before I changed to the Google Now launcher, which is what you can see now. And I really think that a company of the resources of Samsung really should be devoting more time and effort to creating an Android skin that isn't the bloody travesty that TouchWiz is. So the second thing I dislike is the settings menu, and frankly, it's a bit of a mess. You can never find anything when you need it, and it becomes a bloody chore to change things after a while. I mean, look at it, there must be about 20 to 30 odd icons in this settings menu. And when a phone has so many features and things to tweak like the S5 does, you better make sure that your menu system is pretty intuitive. Unfortunately, the S5's menu system is the opposite of intuitive. Frankly, it's shit. So you can organize the menu in various ways, so you can choose between a grid view and a list view. But neither is very useful, given that in both grid and list view there's about 100 million different menu items to find. When you need to insert a search function into your settings menu, that should be a big clue that it's not very user friendly. Frankly, Samsung didn't spot this. Now, the third thing that I dislike about the S5 is the fingerprint scanner. Now, actually, my level of dislike for this feature is slightly less than for TouchWiz and the settings menu. Now, the fingerprint scanner works about 60 to 70% of the time, which is fine, but those 30 to 40% of times when it doesn't work are really frustrating. Now, the thing that I find really weird about the fingerprint scanner, and this is where Samsung have totally fucked it up, is that once you've maxed out on your unsuccessful attempts, you have to enter a password to get into your phone. Not a PIN, not a lock pattern, but a freaking alphanumeric password. Now, you imagine a situation where you've only got one hand free, you're frantically trying to unlock your phone with the fingerprint scanner, you're unsuccessful, and then you have to stop what you're doing, use both hands to enter a password in. Bloody hell, Samsung. So let's talk about the things that I don't really mind, but definitely things that could be better about the phone. Now, the first thing is the build materials. Now, I don't mean build quality, I mean the build materials. Now, I'm not saying that I want something metal like the new HTC One M8, but I want something that feels just a bit nicer. Now, the thing that surprised me was how slippery the phone was, despite this sort of rubberized backing that it's got. Now, don't be fooled, the grip isn't much better than on the HTC One. I managed to drop it on the first day I got it. It's deceptively slippery. But I do have to say, after a while of using it, the dimpled back actually grew on me, and I actually think it looks alright. So the second thing I think could do with a bit of improvement is what you hear here, which is the back-facing speaker. Now, they aren't as bad as I've heard in sort of other reviews. They're a bit tinny, but they're certainly not a deal breaker, and for me they work just fine. Now, the third thing which could have been better are the side buttons. Now, the volume rocker and the power button are good in terms of placement, but they're not pronounced enough when trying to feel for them, and there's not enough tactile feedback. Now, I hope I haven't sounded like I've been too harsh on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Certainly I've gone through the negatives and things that could be improved. Now let's talk about the things I absolutely love about the device, and there are plenty. Now, firstly, as you can see here, the screen. Now, oh my god, the screen is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It is the best display on any mobile device that I've used. It's crystal clear, pin sharp, bright, vibrant, with absolutely great viewing angles. Now, the other thing I love about the screen is its range in terms of brightness. Now, not only can it get very, very dim dimmer than most other phones, which is great for nighttime viewing. It can also get very, very bright indeed, which is great for outdoor visibility. So as you can see here, this was a particularly sunny day and it's perfectly legible. So the second thing I love about the S5 is the camera. It's great. You know, the autofocus is extremely fast. The photos are pin sharp with great color, and photo capture time is almost instant. And I love the live HDR mode, which you can see here. So you can see the pic that you'll get while you're taking it rather than waiting for it to process and then finding out that it was rubbish. And HDR mode in general on this phone is very good. Take for example this scene with bright sunshine, you know, lots of shadows, and you can see instantly the impact that HDR mode has on a picture. It also has selective focus, which allows you to select focus on a picture, but as you can see here, it's slightly hit and miss. Now here's an example of HD video recording on the S5 with smooth motion enabled. Now the camera has autofocus, which generally works quite well in videos, but there are occasions, in particular where you're zooming into something very macro like this, where you really do have to tap the screen to prompt it to autofocus, but generally it works pretty well. And so, as with sort of still photography, the video camera on the S5 is excellent. So now on to the third thing that I really love about the S5, and that is performance. Now, I've read about people saying that this phone is quite laggy, but in my experience, I've seen none of it. Even when using TouchWiz, no matter how much I hate it, it was always quick and smooth and snappy. So even when I'm running, you know, the Google Now launcher on top of TouchWiz with a live wallpaper, it's always been very snappy and responds instantaneously. So when I first got the phone, I was installing all of my regular apps from the Google Play Store. So app after app after app was installing continuously, and I noticed no lag or stuttering while they were installing, and I was just using the phone normally. So that really impressed me. And you know, this phone games like a boss as well. I don't normally game on my mobiles, but you know, with performance like this, I might give it a try. So we come to number 4 of the things that really impressed me about this phone, and that is battery life. This thing just goes on and on. So you can see that currently it's at 41% and the phone's been on for 7 hours and 27 minutes. And this was on a weekend day, and I'd been using it fairly heavily, listening to music, watching YouTube, testing out games, taking pictures, videos. The sun's been out outside as well, so I've had the screen on max for ages. And in all that time, it's still only at 41%. That's pretty heavy usage, so that's pretty impressive. Now overall, my thoughts on the S5 is that I've been very impressed with it. Now the things that I like far outweigh the things that I don't like, or the things that I don't mind but could be improved. You know, I wish it had better materials, I wish TouchWiz wasn't the ugliest Android skin ever, I wish the settings were better laid out. But you know what, I can live with all that for that great screen, the terrific camera, the battery life and the performance. Now I hope you guys have enjoyed the review, and if you have, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye all.